Okay, let's do a little bit of setup here. So I can see how this looks. Turn of the Joker. Oh yeah, some game details here. Game number 9. Developed by Sunsoft and published by Sunsoft. NES 1991. So I debated hooking up my fake Nintendo controller again, but I'm actually going to keep going with this thing right here because this is a very mashy game, and I feel like before all said and done, we're going to make some use of Turbo Fire controls, in which case I'm going to need some extra buttons. So we're going over comfort over authenticity for now. I hope no one thinks lesser of me for it. Actually, I don't really give a shit, but... we will be playing Return of the Joker in just a second. Let me stop the music here and... Return of the Joker USA. Boot this up. And... let's... do that, and... do that for the 4:3 ratio. Yeah, this game definitely very fancy graphics, good music. Kind of a... oh, this looks so good. Kind of you know, the Game Boy game on steroids. Yeah, like this art. The jumping and shooting. Yeah, they're going like full on, like crazy stylization. Like this is like ostensibly the sequel to the first game in some fashion, but it's clearly not really, you know, it's pretty far removed from Burton's Batman, we can just say. I mean, the logo is still there, but the bat suit, well, his fucking rapid fire rocket gun or whatever. Anyway. Timer is reset as we start a new game. Like, this looks so incredible. I forgot how like slippery this is. Got a little bat high heels. Weird like frame rate issues here, but yeah, you can like hold button, of course. Music's so good. Like, you know you're playing a good game when it just, like, struggles to keep up. Like, everything's flickering. It looks so amazing. Keep in mind how amazing this looks for when we get to the Genesis version. Like, look at these tiles for the platforms. Crazy good. I think one could maybe argue that the size of Batman's sprite is like a slight issue because it makes things... like his size and immobility, I guess. Alright, just walk... nope, we don't just walk past. Oh, okay. Can't like hold on to that one, I guess. Yeah, there's much like the Game Boy game, there's like different letters you pick up for different weapons that have like different properties. And Batman's thigh-high boots too, though. This weapon is a little awkward with the slow rocket. I definitely did not remember Batman moving so kind of clunkily in this. It's like pretty slippery. It's got a lot of momentum. It looks like, yeah, like I said, the thigh-high boots, a little funky, but like the cape, having an animation for turning around feels like not something you take for granted in a NES game for sure. Whatever. Okay, just one hit. You just gotta time and space it very deliberately. Oh, dude, a little custom animation looking in the background. Oh yeah, you can shoot up. I forgot about that. I don't think you can actually hit anything though. I mean, you can't shoot the ship, I don't think. Okay. Didn't jump up there, but alright. Like, yeah, everything is very cramped. Like, you... I think that's a health. I feel like definitely in this game you kind of need to know the level layouts. It's very hard to, like, survive even on kind of your first go through. Like, it's not necessarily a critique or like a problem with the game, but there's kind of a sense of having to be very careful. I think you shoot the items? Oh shit. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. Like I should shoot the pickups instead of picking them up. It's a little hard to see what's going on here. Alright. You can pretty much just tank this, it would appear. There we go. For different weapons. Alright, I see. I see. I'll... Alright, that looks pretty close to Burton's Batman. We got the same stage clear jingle. I'll give it a shot. Yep. That's helpful. Thanks. Oh, dude, this effect. But yeah, the way you're like in the center of the screen, okay, you have a slide that can kill you very quickly. See, like this guy doesn't even appear like just the way the NES sprites work, I guess. Until he's like too close for comfort. It's like too close. Oh, that's exactly what I didn't want to happen, but okay. There's like multiple frames of animation to look up. Oh, okay, it's just the two, I guess. I wanted to see if it changed to multiple things. This seems like a lot easier to use than the other weapon. You get a little option there? Is that what that did? Alright. Well, it's a little similar to the Game Boy game in multiple ways, I guess. Okay, we have an N. Right, okay. Yep, that seems familiar. Yeah, this one you can't like hold on to, you just... you charge it up and then you fire it. So does the slide do damage? That was inconclusive. I think this is probably my favorite so far. So I'm assuming the B meter is the Batman meter. That's what the first game was like. So the L, does that have to do anything with my weapon? Oh, right, I forgot about this. Surely this means we're the titular Dynamite Batman. Right, I forgot about that. Yeah, I guess you pick up those little crystals and that charges you up. So I guess L is life and B is the Batman gauge for when you go into super mode. This is not a good weapon to have here. Okay, I can charge this up. So the charged version of this seems really good. I'll give it that much. That's probably the intended trade-off then. Shouldn't say that this weapon isn't good, but it's definitely hard to use. Like, this looks fucking sick, even though it's a little weird to have, like, rocket-powered jetpack Batman. It's a pretty fucking cool visual as far as, like, NES action games go. Okay, transitioning into the boss fight, I'm guessing? Or there's no boss fight. We just get a slick little Batmobile shot. Stage 3, alright. Oh my, okay, yes. I'm having flashbacks. Oh yeah, right. The fucking wind-flinging Japanese swordsmen or whatever. Well, they don't have swords, I guess, but look vaguely medieval. I want to say there's like wind effects also that we need to contend with sooner or later. Yeah, the trees, like everything looks incredible. Like, the snow makes those little rockets needlessly difficult to see. I just wish the camera worked differently. So you could stay a little further behind on screen. Because you're too big to be comfortable at the center of the screen, really. Enemy projectiles move too quickly. You have to, like, inch forward in case there's a fucking rocket coming out of the sky or this guy. Both super cool and stupid at once. I think that's a fair way of putting it. Like, I want to shoot in case there's something coming at me. But when I shoot, I can't see if there's a rocket coming out of the sky, because everything kind of blends together. At least the snow is, like, not really ice physics, other than Batman just being slippery in general. The frozen waterfalls definitely have slipping physics. Like, you have to, like, yeah, it's I'm sad to say that, like, I feel like all of my frustrations with this game from when I played it last time are coming back. So at least I know there's a sword guy here, but I wasn't able to figure out how to time my jump. Like, for a game that has this much sort of firepower, you don't necessarily expect every enemy encounter to be like a puzzle like this, where you have to, like, space everything out just right. I think it's a strange kind of mix between the mechanics, like abilities, like player abilities, and sort of level design and encounter design. There's a few rockets here, are there not? Nope. Okay. There we go. Still get, like, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to avoid getting hit by that. Everything at once. Sorry, I mistimed that. Physics. Like, see, like, I shoot him, like, the moment he appears on screen, but he still has time to get the projectile out. Whew, we got it. But I'm not convinced, well, we'll see, I guess. I was gonna say, I'm not convinced I get to continue from here if I continue. Actually, kind of probably. Just based on my... Given that we did beat this game before. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Yeah, I was gonna say, because I feel like every stage is gonna kind of be like this from now on. Just okay, right? Really need to do that, but but by all means, if people have like strats or advice, I'm completely open to backseating here because I'm not good at this game. All right, there's the rock there, and then the debris also hurts you. Like, this is such dickish level design. Like, everything feels like so fine-tuned to be frustrating. Okay. I can't, like, get him on screen without jumping. And I can't crouch under his shot. Like, oh, I feel like these stages are designed for a Batman half the size. Twin shot. So, is that the N? The wave pattern? Yeah, this gives me like the beam thing. A little tricky to set up though, because you have to like time the charge. Well, it didn't really help there. And I can't hit the guy with it. Well, maybe if I stood up, I guess. But that particular dude is like, he doesn't spawn until you're on the platform. Right. I guess I need to try to jump on the platform when it's much further to the right, so that I jump over his knife in the same jump. Nope, that doesn't work either. Because I'm not sure if/how I can land on the platform in time to do a second jump to jump over the knife. I didn't quite need to do that, but I'll charge this up, I guess. So I have to, like, immediately jump again. Okay, that does work. I just gotta jump immediately and then just mash. At least this lets me mash. Hey, Mr. B Smooth, what's up? Also, Val. I mean, I do have, I guess I'm not sure if I set it up, but yeah, I can use turbo buttons. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it looks like I have it set up. I don't think the slow-mo, like, would help. Fuck, just making that jump is hard. It's like such a complete battle for attrition, every inch. And like, it feels very deliberate. It does not feel accidental. But like, that's kind of what I mean about this game. Like, I feel like there's something at least unexpected about this kind of design. Alright. There we go. B. Okay. Just gotta fucking memorize everything. That's fine. I'm not sure if you gain anything from getting more of the same. Wouldn't think so. Oh, we got through. Well, technically we're still on 3-2 though. Homing, I guess. Shit all damage though. Whew. All right, we got it. Boss fight. Batman versus Gray Robot Dude. Alright. Started tanking it, and then I started being strategic. So that seems to do like 10k. Alright. Wasn't sure how to avoid it, but still not really sure about avoiding it on this side, but I'll probably crouch on that little platform. Okay, no, it's not homing, it's just sort of. Nope. Well, maybe depending on where he stands. I don't even know if it's supposed to be homing or not. What's up, guys, by the way? Oh my god, we start back here. Okay, well, let's not get the B weapon. It kind of sucks. I forgot I can't slide there. I jumped a little too far, so I couldn't avoid the knife. Well, this is not a good run. Oh, I'll just wait for it to disappear. I don't think collecting more of them helps. So that guy, at least, I think I can get to appear before I jump. Just didn't remember him being there, of course. I reacted in time, but not in a way that helped me. This is just like the fucking wave beam in the Game Boy game. Like, it's occasionally super helpful, more often not very helpful. Alright, but we have a better weapon and at least some semblance of an idea of how to avoid. No! That was a slide. Whoa, what the? Okay. That was good. I get him to stand all the way over there, or shoot the wrong way, that's helpful. No, wait. I fucked up the timing. I avoided the shot, but I still got hit by... The fucking rocks hurt you. The debris from his shots hitting the floor hurt you. But we should have it. Oh, that's a sick Batwing. Stage 4. Auto stroller, that's worrisome. Alright, we're getting a lot of these orb pickups. Transforming into Dynamite Batman. Oh, there's a... Do I want this? Oh, doesn't matter if I want it. I have it. Mudmen coming up here. Is it just me, or is this slightly strenuous to look at? Weapon might actually be pretty useful here. First try. Yeah, the graphics are incredible in this game. Like, a lot of this game is incredible. It's just kind of annoying. I don't know. Okay, this guy got to exist from off screen. Like, it's kind of refreshing in a way, I guess, that you don't need to, like, unlike the PC Engine game, you don't feel like super screwed over by dying and losing your power-ups, because it's all kind of... This looks cool, but it's gonna screw me over somehow. Like, you always start off getting some kind of pickup, like, almost immediately. Like, this is way more for me or the game to handle, I think. Try to pick that thing up, but... Am I gonna face a boss right after this, too? I feel like that's likely. Is this gonna be of any help here? Doesn't look like it. Nope, that was completely useless. Sick. Still? Ah. It's rough. Am I gonna play the wacky SNES Proto? Nah, I don't think I have it on hand. It's not, I mean, I can't remember if it's called Return. I think it's called Revenge of the Joker, because I think it shares some artwork with the Genesis game. But it's not a port of either. It's a completely different beat-em-up game. But at least to my knowledge, any build that I've seen of that game, at least, is, like, extremely, extremely unfinished, to the point where it's like, you can look at it, sure, but you can play it for about 20 seconds and see everything it has to offer. God, that did not go well. We might cover it tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the finale. We're going to to my charge? We're going to be spending some time looking at games we didn't play for the Caped Crusade, which mostly amounts to Batman games on platforms that aren't really available, such as mobile games. And we're going to look at some games where Batman is featured, but not the main character. And I guess, I hadn't really thought about it, but I guess unreleased games might fit in there as well. Because that game was, of course, never released. There's an unreleased version of what appears to be a Super Nintendo port of the Genesis port of this. That is something I have literally never heard about. I guess I'll Google it after the stream today. Injustice 1 and 2 has both been covered at length on this stream in one way or another, but not as part of this series, since, again, it's not a... strictly speaking, they're not Batman games. Fuck's sake, like, just no room to move. Like, how do I get out of that? Dude, this does, like, fuck all damage. You're so slippery, it's hard to stop in between the conveyor belts. But yeah, tomorrow, some of the games we'll be looking at, some video clips and maybe some images and stuff of non-Batman games featuring Batman, including mostly a couple of Justice League games. Injustice and the like. Of course, Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. Never forget. Okay, I can't believe we got through there unscathed. Drink every day to forget MK versus DC. I think that's a game that's... I definitely can't say that it's unfairly maligned, but it's definitely... I feel like maligned partially for weird reasons, okay? That seems to do nothing. What am I aiming to hurt here? I guess if I let that thing fill up, I take damage no matter what. I seem to have done... Okay, hitting that thing in the ceiling does deal damage. I see it. It's just fucking hard to hit things in this game. It appears that the giant shot does like full screen. Hits full screen, basically. Yeah, maybe jumping horizontal shots is... Yeah, okay. It's not good, but it's not the worst fighter ever made. It's I think, like... it's interesting because a lot of the ground for MK9 was very clearly laid with MKDC. There's, like, a significant amount of mechanics that are very... Like, on paper, very similar between MKDC and MK9. But the execution is... Okay, I'm just trying to see if I can land the fucking power-up shot. But it's so hard to aim because he keeps moving sideways and... Like, even rapid fire like this... I can't keep him from building up the meter. Alright, let's turbo fire this. Yeah, I guess I just needed to mash way harder, because if I'm using turbo, it's like doable at least, but every now and then there's a thing that pops in to the left, or from the left rather. One of those little UFO things. Alright, this looks doable. Yeah. I'm not gonna feel too bad about using turbo for this, because I would fucking destroy my arms if I were to mash through this. Oh, even that was like exhausting. I wouldn't necessarily take... Oh, this looks so good. MKDC to be like a... I mean, obviously, I think it's fair to say that... it's fair to say that Marvel and Capcom's crossover stuff probably has some influence on MKDC existing. It's unlocked and fell down. All right. But I think it's more to do with the fact that Midway was in a really shitty place. I mean, they were basically collapsing at that time. And MK was like one of the only things that kept Midway alive. Oh. And I think they were so it's interesting because in 2004, 2005, some point around there, Midway basically announced a sort of new plan to, like, in order to leverage the MK brand. It's done. To leverage the you know, the MK brand, a plan to have a new Mortal Kombat title on shelves every year. Like, the gap between those minds, could it not be just slightly wider? It's like so hard to squeeze through there. Right. Oh, fuck. I was thinking if I stand on the right, I can have the power-up glide into me instead of fall down. But of course, I fell down first. Nope. Okay. I thought maybe if I shoot it real fast, I can slide. I feel like I'm not sure if there's even a way to collect that thing, because you have to chase after it down the pit. This game's so fucking ruthless. Right, okay. I mean, certainly there's no way to really get what power-up you want, I think, but this should work here anyway. Lose your charge as soon as you get hit, of course. I'm gonna finish my thought in just a second. You lose your charge when you pick up the same weapon you already had, too. In any case, yeah, they announced a plan to release a new Mortal Kombat game every year. And the idea was that every other year would be a mainline game, and every other year would be a sort of spin-off of some sort. So in 2004, they released Armageddon, or Deception. 2005 was, I think 2005, they released Unchained, which was like the PlayStation... No, they released the GameCube version of Deception that had Goro and Shao Kahn. And then for PSP, MK Unchained, they added some of the characters from Deadly Alliance that were missing, like Kitana and someone else, maybe? I forget. And then in 2006, they released Shaolin Monks, which was like the first of planned spin-offs. In 2007, they released Armageddon. And there was, at some point, a sequel to Shaolin Monks starring Scorpion and Sub-Zero in development. But it apparently didn't get super far before being cancelled. Because I think even that plan to start releasing Mortal Kombat yearly evidently, it didn't really get very far because I think they... I guess they had to sort of divert resources in a slightly different way. Because what happened was that didn't become a thing. The game that was known, colloquially at least, as Fire and Ice, which was going to be the Scorpion and Sub-Zero game, I assume was slated for 2008 release, but that never happened. And instead, MKDC did come out in late 2008. And I think Midway was just willing to do anything they could. Because it's interesting when you look at some of the, like, marketing stuff and everything, and even hearing some of the developers talk about it. Like, MKDC was the idea, which isn't completely bad. The idea was just to kind of be able to reach a much larger audience. Because as popular as Mortal Kombat is and was, by crossing over with DC, like, potentially they could reach a much wider and totally different audience and get some of those sales that they so desperately needed to stay alive. I think the theory behind that thinking has definitely borne out when you look at Mortal Kombat and how the guest character DLC and all that stuff is, like, consistently the best-selling stuff they do for those games. Like, whenever they do DLC for those games, the guest characters always, like, every single time without exception, with MK9, X, and 11, like, the DLC, the guest characters have been the best-selling characters, the best-selling DLC, by like a significant margin. Oh, it's kind of frustrating. So clearly they are reaching a wider audience who are willing to part with their hard-earned cash. Now, obviously, just because that's a sound theory, doesn't mean that MKDC, as it ended up, was a great idea. But yeah, someone mentioned that, yeah, because WB happened to have the rights to both of them. That is actually not the case. In fact, MKDC, like, it's kind of the other way around. Because MKDC, like, Midway was basically looking for licensing partners to cross over with. And MKDC was the start of their working relationship with Warner Brothers, which essentially led to Warner Brothers... like, I'm not sure if they may have had some kind of relationship in the past, but MKDC was the last Mortal Kombat game, and one of the last games, period, to be developed and published by Midway before them going under. And of course, Warner Brothers ended up buying the rights to all the Midway IP, as well as, like, NetherRealm Studios right now is essentially the original Midway Chicago. Midway had a bunch of other studios in LA and in the UK. None of which I think survived, or at least as part of WB. But Midway Chicago, obviously in the past, had done all kinds of other things, like NBA Jam and, you know, pinball and shit, but by that point, Midway Chicago was basically the Mortal Kombat studio, the Mortal Kombat team. That was a bad jump. This is very difficult. So basically, WB bought the rights to the Mortal Kombat IP along with, I don't know, Narc and whatever else Midway owns. A bunch of Atari stuff, I guess, was also owned by Midway. Or like by Williams. And Williams and Midway kind of merged at some point. Because Midway was originally like the pinball arm of Williams, I get. Like, it gets a little convoluted. Alright, it's been a while since I got this far. Just maybe pay attention here. Ah, finally. Alright. Hey, another one of these stages. Ooh, just charge up. Oh, that probably means no boss either. That's good. But yeah, MKDC did not come about because Midway and Warner/DC had a working relationship. That happened the other way around. But yeah, like I said, oh, shit, I don't have any power-ups. Just rapid fire this, I guess. Bolts are small, but they work. Oh my god, okay, this is significantly more intense than the Game Boy game. Get any Gradius style power-ups? Nope. Of course not. The thing about MKDC, it's like, it must have been so kind of rushed. Because a lot of people complain about the lack of gore and violence. Like, I think ultimately MKDC, although it should be noted that MKDC reviewed well and sold well. It did well. It was not, by, you know, commercial or critical standards, a failure. But it didn't do well enough to save Midway, I guess it's fair to say. But creatively, I think it's fair to say that it wasn't necessarily a success. And on that level, I think it sort of comes down to it failing to satisfy either DC fans or MK fans. Don't know what would save Midway. That's probably completely fair. This stage is cool. Oop, I didn't notice that conveyor belt there. Oh, I thought I was charging. Always be charging. I guess I needed to jump. Okay, I thought I could walk across them. I figured they would fall, but I thought I could have time to walk across. Like, it's a game that is, on some level, like, I think it's, mechanically, there's definitely a lot of things that make it more fun, just on a moment-to-moment, like the way it controls compared to Armageddon or like the other PS2 games. One sort of key, well, I don't want to call it innovation, but a key feature, oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, this was a platform. I thought that was a background element. The ability to cancel your strings into special moves, shit, it was added. That was not something you used to be able to do. Nice sushi, what's up? Nice to sushi you. Yeah, the music in this is great. Shit. So on some level, it's I do think it like played. Oh, it got stuck. All right. Why can't I slide? I don't think mechanically it was necessarily a step down or a failure, but ultimately the big issue is that it has so little content. It has a story mode, which is interesting. Again, talking about laying the foundation for future games. Like every story mode that NRS has done in any fighting game after that point is very closely modeled after the original one they did in MKDC. But the roster is small. There are no alternate costumes. There's no alternate game modes. There's no unlockable concept art. Every character has granted to fatalities slash... I see. Slash heroic brutalities. Okay, it's like speeding up. Okay. But they were all terrible. And it feels like they were really rushed. I mean, it's similar to Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, which is a game that I think has a lot of cool shit going for it, but it also has parts of it that feel really rushed and sort of unfinished. And MKDC to me feels... Oh, this is cool. That's a cool little stage ending. Yeah, I remember this. This is where I started using Turbo Fire when I played through this the first time. I remember this. I'm trying to slide. Oh, that's not a good timing for that. MK versus DC, especially going back, if you played the PS2 games and then play that and then play MK9, like MK9 is absolutely, like, on some level it's a giant leap forward, but it's also very much incremental from MKDC. Like, it's... This looks so awesome. A lot of what they started to do in that game is something they carried on. Like, MKDC was the first MK game to have a super meter of any kind. It wasn't the first to have breakers, because that was in Deception and Armageddon. But tying it to a meter resource. Alright, Joker. Right, this was the... Okay. Like, no weapon upgrades either. So fucking big. He has a lot of health. It's a little hard to see where those goddamn bubbles are to figure out where you can and can't be. Maybe this is safer than being beneath him. I guess so. You don't really hit him as much, but surviving is a priority. Well, like, yeah, I think definitely, you know, for me, I always find it weird when people claim that, like, the gore and violence is, like, the only thing that matters, or, like, the most important part of Mortal Kombat, because I simply don't think that's true. I think it's obviously a part of it. I can understand if people miss it when it's not there, but I feel, and this might be a little unfair to say this, I'm kind of making up an imaginary opponent for my argument here, but I feel instinctively that a lot of the same people who would claim that Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe is terrible directly because it doesn't have decapitations are kind of the same people who are very quick to call the Mortal Kombat movie like the greatest video game movie of all time and like the greatest, like, incarnation of Mortal Kombat, which I think is a little contradictory, given that that movie obviously does not have any real gore or violence. My point isn't, like, to be a, you know, a gotcha thing really, but the point is more that I think the movie, as much as I don't necessarily love it as much as many other MK fans, I think it proves that what I think is sort of self-evident anyway, that the core appeal of Mortal Kombat is the atmosphere and tone and characters in the world. And I think you can capture that without... Like, the violence is a key component in terms of it always having been there, but I don't think it's crucial in that sense. That you can't create a compelling Mortal Kombat universe without it. Because I absolutely think you can. And I think the Injustice games prove, as if it needed proving, that not just anyone, but these specific developers can make a game that doesn't have gore and violence to that degree, but it's still compelling and exciting. Oh, it's difficult to talk about this and fight this guy at the same time. I haven't really been able to figure out... When he stops in poses like that, I should probably, well, do that, except successfully. It's got definite big Wily, but also Eggman vibes, I feel like. Like, oh, it's so fucking big. Everything's huge. I want to see if I can use this slide to avoid stuff, but... it's kind of hard to get the slide going. Like, there's been MK comics and movies and whatever stuff. Like, I think it's, you know, claiming that Mortal Kombat, like, claiming rather that MKDC is somehow evidence that MK without gore is bad, I think just shows a tremendous lack of imagination. I think it's true that MKDC is bad, and it's true that it doesn't have a lot of gore. But I think it's conjecture to say that it's a direct cause and effect. It's not even conjecture; it's just flat out wrong. I think it's inaccurate. But the thing is, at the time, the people making it, I guess, didn't have a good sense of what to do instead, I guess. Shit. Alright, I think I'm dead on the next hit, probably. Yeah. Alright, we got pretty far. Oh. Alright, if I press the right buttons, that might help. I mean, I'm personally of the opinion that the gore is, like, completely superfluous. I don't like the fatalities in the new games. I think they're, like, boring, unskippable cutscenes, and I wish they weren't there. Yeah, I need to get ahead of those two. Otherwise, that doesn't work. I wonder if the slide has iframes, and I wonder if you can slide through those things if they're already there. But it's like, it's one of those things that you can't really even say it among other Mortal Kombat fans, because you'll get fucking ratioed so bad you know, didn't see what hit you. I don't know, it's silly, but I think it's... there's so much more to Mortal Kombat than that, and I think you could absolutely make... I've made no qualms about the fact that I would love to see an MKDC 2. There are a number of reasons why I don't think it's likely to ever happen, but I would love for it to happen. I'm taking way too many hits. Holy shit. This is a terrible attempt right now. The question is maybe if I should try to focus entirely on survival. Okay, did I fucking generate him there? It sounded like it. I don't think I did, but... at least the slide, I think, prevented me from taking damage in that instance. That was supposed to be a slide. That was also supposed to be a slide. I guess there's like a little delay before you start crouching. And if you press jump before you're fully crouched, you don't get the slide. That seems to be what's happening. This was not even close to as good an attempt. That was supposed to be a slide. Oh my god. Yeah, the brutalities in MK, I think, is like... That's the way. That's why I would want them to get rid of fatalities, because I think the brutalities in the current game fulfill everything that the fatalities used to. They're fun, they can be playful, they're surprising, and they're quick. Fatalities in the modern games, they never, like, they just, you know, as soon as you hear the little jingle to indicate that a fatality is starting, it's just like, alright, I can turn off my brain and or my TV, because for the next 30 seconds, we're just going to see a rerun of that trailer where they showed this before anyway. And after you've seen it once, it's literally just a tiresome, unskippable cutscene. But that said, like, I think the finishing moves in MKDC are atrociously bad. Like, they're unimaginative, they're really boring, they are, like, very awkwardly animated. There's, like, nothing good about them for the most part. So that's the bigger problem. But also, again, like, it's just the fatalities are just one thing. The way a lot of moves look, the move sets for a lot of characters, like, it's overall just a kind of an unimaginative game. It's funny too that, like, the story mode when the game was new was, like, lauded as this awesome thing, and it's pretty laughable. It's, like, not particularly well written. Oh. Thing is, as long as I get through this without dying, is literally what I was about to say, which I'm just gonna... I'm better off doing this and continuing with full lives. I was gonna say, it doesn't matter if I get hurt, because I will get full health for the boss fight anyway. I mean, I would love... I mean, I've said for I don't know how many decades that I would love to see, like, a Japanese studio, or, like, anyone else, really, like, their take on what their Mortal Kombat game might look like. There's that kind of creative flair in terms of animation and style and movement and creating something. I just think MK and DC can absolutely work if it's, like, the right version of the MK characters and story, and it's the right version of the DC stuff. And I would sooner want it to lighten up the mood from the Mortal Kombat stuff than vice versa, you know? Alright. But I think there's... You can put so much more thought and effort into it, but and it's like it's an excuse to go completely crazy and goofy. Like, one of the things that I really like about MKDC are the endings in the arcade mode, that all basically create these new sort of crossover characters. Like, Liu Kang becomes the new Captain Marvel, Sonya becomes a Green Lantern, Sub-Zero becomes Batman, like, Jax becomes Cyborg, Kano becomes the Joker, basically. It's like shit like that. And my dream would be basically to have a MKDC 2 that, like, follows through on that. Like, what would the playable, like... Just imagine what you could create, like, mechanically with those characters. I'm taking way too many hits here. So did that actually damage him, or did it just sound cool? I think it took damage, but I took damage too, so... But just again, like, having the imagination to do fun, cool stuff, thematically, storyline-wise, visually, that's something that the original game really was lacking, I think. A remake of Weapon Lord would be cool too. Japanese studios rarely get to tackle Western IPs. I don't know if that's entirely true, but either way, I mean, I'd be happy to see, I don't know, Iron Galaxy or anyone, just a different take. I love the current MK games, but I was just would be interested in seeing a different take on it, is all. And, like, one of the reasons I would be excited for an MKDC 2 is also because I would want to see whether it was made by, you know, I guess that's an example of like a different style game, because I would be curious to see what someone could do with the inherent limitations of something like that. And I'm also definitely not talking about, I'm not giving business advice to Warner Brothers. I'm just talking about what I would personally find interesting and fun to see. Dude, it's fucking impossible to see where anything is here. Making it kind of difficult to dodge any of it. I know I don't need to jump to avoid anything, but I'm trying to do it to squeeze in extra hits, because I can't shoot him otherwise. Not as much, anyway. It doesn't feel like I'm getting hit because I'm jumping. I'm getting hit all the time, anyway. Alright, I'm gonna try to play defensively. Was a slide, by the way? That was a slide. That I thought I was going to do a slide, but I didn't actually press down, so. Alright, I think I'm doing a lot better, actually. Getting cornered like that, that's the worst part. Alright, turns out patience would have been a good idea. No wonder I did poorly. Patience is not my greatest strength. Ooh, okay. I actually have the life lead. That's pretty rare. That was a bad slide. I didn't need to do that. Didn't do the jump either. Still have the life lead. Definitely seems to like bully me way more in the left corner than the right. I wonder if I can sort of... I wonder if I can control that to any degree. Alright, okay. That doesn't bear out exactly. More used to doing it this way, though, so... Dude, without the turbo fire, this would be... painful. Shit. Getting close now. Alright, okay, flew away. That's probably not the last boss. Yep, stage 7-1. Yeah, there's like the island. Yes, okay. I just remembered this now. Ooh. This looks so amazing. Amazing, but also kind of painful to look at. I was definitely kind of ready for the game to be over after that, but that's fine. Stupid. I think my patience reserves are all empty. Look at this shit. Oh, this is so cool though. Oh my god, this game is like throwing 8,000 things at you at once. Whew. It's impressive that MK's been around. Yeah, for sure. Speed through this if we can. Need another pickup, I guess. I definitely pressed down. All right. Ah. In terms of Western-made fighting games, I mean, it's not surprising that. I mean, it's like it's the only Western fighting game. Which I mean, it's incredible in its own right, but like it's the only one. Cool, I kept shooting the power up. Where the developers are still around, I feel like. But that in itself is like pretty fucking incredible. It's very unusual to really have any people at any game company being around that long, especially in a creative capacity. Although arguably Ed Boon probably has way less of a creative role now than he did previously. But it's pretty insane that the original Mortal Kombat was made by 4 guys, essentially. One of those 4 guys left about 5 years later. The other 3 are still at key creative positions at NRS. That's, like, pretty much unprecedented in the industry, I feel like. I wonder if, I still haven't really tried if you can slide off of platforms to maintain momentum, because if you can, that's probably what you're meant to do there. Ooh. I guess every few attempts you at least get this, you can just jump through this first part. Although doing that will give you no power-ups, so... Well, you get one here, I guess. Well, I guess we'll try. Nope. No momentum. You gotta walk off there. Maybe you could jump if you jump really fast. Like, really soon after landing. Like, that's so... Game gives you, like, a power-up right in front of an enemy. Should have picked that up, but oh well. I'm trying to rack my brain remembering why we were talking about MKDC. I guess we're talking about other games we're not playing for this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy to talk about MKDC. Nope. Okay, I guess you gotta wait and walk off of it then. I'm still not sure if spikes were instant death or if I just happen to have little HP. You guys, yeah. Whew. Alright, okay. This shit is the worst, though. I can get past those first bubbles, but... See, these things take, like, fucking multiple shots with this weapon. I don't know what happened there. I think I didn't realize that it was a conveyor belt until too late, and I jumped out of a little bit of panic. But hey, I did this in the past, so we can do this. Ah! Every goddamn time. It's like, I don't know what it is, but it's so hard for me to just memorize what's going on here. I keep hearing death sound and thinking my PS4 is turning itself on. Maybe I should stick to that weapon. I don't know. That was not a good jump. I've already played MKDC and Injustice on stream. On request, even. But I'll be honest and say, it's probably not the last time I'll play either. On or off stream. It's just like spawning in the perfect position. Alright. Okay. So this doesn't, like, give me life or anything, does it? Alright, couldn't really help there. Just curious to see if it might. Did not give me life back, but at least... Never mind. I was going to say, at least taking damage isn't what's going to kill me. But it did. I feel like it's... Come on. It's hard to figure out... like landmarks, I guess, for when to expect these things to show up. Obviously, it's not random. It's the same every time. But I feel like I don't see it until it's too late because... Well, for one, because I've been playing for a long time. I'm not at my mentally sharpest right now. But also, it's so, like, everything looks the same. Alright, new PB here. Nice, we got it. 7-2. Oh shit! I vaguely recall this stage not being super long or... Okay, well now we have this weapon. Right. He's taking damage, but... I'll game over before I'll get a chance to learn how to use this weapon in this fight, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. Alright, he's taking damage, alright. Because you lose the charge the second you get hit, it's pretty difficult. Yeah, that's the thing, like, even if you could learn to do it super well with that weapon, assuming I get there with more than one life, which may be a bold assumption, but... that guy. If I get there with more than one life, if I die... I feel like this weapon is probably pretty good. Good to know. Spikes do kill you instantly, even when you're in the invulnerable. I try to say invincible and invulnerable at the same time, but yeah. This game is rough. See, this is like, as much as I admire this game and think it's pretty awesome, I don't think I could reasonably say that I like it better than the first game. I think it's, like I said, it's incredible, but it's a bit of a chore to play. I'm super impressed with people who fucking like speedrun this. In fact, most of my familiarity with this game, or like the most I can remember seeing this, was watching Funkdoc used to speedrun this game. And just the idea of speedrunning this feels... distant, let's say. Ooh, I felt that was a bad jump, but we got there. Okay. Get out of the way here. This is a little awkward though because, well, the same problem with all these wavy beam weapons. Shit. Oh, that was completely unnecessary. Apologies for the flashing. It does like 6,000 in one hit. There's no way I can do this without... Is there a pattern? Right, shot to the right, hit balls. I also don't really know how to avoid. Maybe I can jump over them. I should start with a standard gun, which at least shoots straight. No, never mind. I start with this. Fuck. So the question is, if I don't destroy the cannon on the right... Well, I guess it's probably still going to be there. So what, 180 is that one he... Yeah. So do go balls and then circles. Okay, I don't know how to avoid those. I got hit there. I have the life lead though, so I can probably tank this, maybe. Got him, I think. Is that the GG? Looks like it. He's falling very slowly. It sounds like GG music. I feel like I'm a mental wreck right now. It's like... Alright, I'm a GG that. I feel exhausted. Dude, even the mere thought of doing this mashing on an NES controller. Holy shit. With all that flashing, that better be the final boss. Yeah. Oh, dude, like the Batwing, so good. Yeah, the art in this game is just incredible. Kind of makes you think, though, what could this game look and sound like with more powerful hardware, capable of multiple colors? 8 color palettes instead of 4. Shout out to Lord Kodaka. Maybe some effing synth. Surely it could make this game only better, right? I beat my previous time. Well, that figures. There's definitely a few things that I... First of all, I wasn't afraid to start embracing Turbo Fire. But I also wasn't... I'd seen everything in the past, even though I obviously didn't really remember the level layouts or anything. We also did everything in one go. I want to say that I did it over 2 streams last time. So I probably had to, like, pick up where we left off and try to remember how to play. But I could be mistaken. But yeah, that's Return of the Joker for the NES. Now, as I mentioned, one of the things that I wanted to do today was to take a, relatively speaking anyway, slightly more extended look at the Genesis port of this. For whatever reason, I don't really know realistically how it came about, but for one reason or another, this game was ported to the Genesis, released exclusively in North America, to the best of my knowledge. I'm not sure if it was under Sunsoft's umbrella, and if so, if this was ported by the American Sunsoft team that also made that Blaster Master game for the Genesis, which I've not played but have not heard great things about. Whatever, however it came about, we probably would have been better off if it hadn't. This is, I mean, in fairness, this is a game that I feel is so tailor-made to everything about the NES. Like, it's hard to imagine, like, taking everything this game has in the art department, and even the audio for that matter, and trying to, like, spruce it up with more colors. Like, I don't think it's, I'd actually be kind of curious to try it myself, just mess around with an increased color palette to see. But I think it's so rare to think of examples where this has been done well. Look at the, the PC Engine and even Super Nintendo versions of Ninja Gaiden. Those games don't look great. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Super Mario All-Stars. I think it looks okay, but I think Super Mario World looks better, and I think the NES games look better. The Wily Wars. The only thing I can, like, really think of off the top of my head that I genuinely think is a job very well done would be, like, the PC Engine versions of some of the Neketsu games, like the Kunio, Downtown Neketsu Monogatari, and like the soccer games. But even then, I'm not sure. Well, I think those came later. I don't think they were originally done with those graphics, but they look good. Battletoads Double Dragon, I don't think I would really count because those were all developed simultaneously, right? So it's essentially, I think that's kind of the opposite, the other way around. Like the NES is kind of more of a toned down version. But at the same time, I feel like that game, all versions of that game were definitely, it looks like they were designed to look okay at different sizes, color palettes, basically. The Mega Drive and Super Nintendo versions both also don't look identical, of course, but it has kind of a monochromatic color scheme that they didn't need to sacrifice much to get it to look decent on the NES. But again, yeah, it's kind of built on the look of the original NES Battletoads too, so yeah, maybe. But again, yeah, like it's certainly not a technical impossibility, but the interesting thing with something like this, or for that matter, the first NES Batman, is that it's got like, let's get some music going, by the way. This is so weirdly quiet. The thing about these games is that they with the NES color palette inherently comes a certain degree of stylization. So when you increase the color depth, you have to suddenly make a much more conscious decision as to your level of stylization and how to approach it. And I think that's like you could take basically the exact same shades of color and like add more shading or stuff like that, but I don't think that's necessarily the right approach. I think it can be done and it could be done well, and we will definitely see an example of it not being done very well. I'm gonna take a short break, but when I come back, let's wrap things up with a look at Batman: Revenge of the Joker on the Genesis. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. Atomic Runner, welcome back. We are indeed going to play a good game. Well, maybe. Northern One, what's up? What is up? Michael Keaton was poor Batman, really liked him as Bruce Wayne. definitely rock a turtleneck. I liked him, but I can agree that he made more of an impression as Bruce Wayne, in particular, than in his interpretation of Batman, I think. But he was certainly a fine actor in the role. Okay, hang on, I just need to do one more thing. Oh yeah, let's update this, because we are in fact playing Revenge of the Joker. I guess it's game 9. Whoops, not B9. Whoa. 9B. Developed by Ringler Studios for the Genesis. This version came out in 1992. Let's change 9B. It's like, it looks weird. It's hard to read. Let's just call it Game 9. Fine, whatever. It's kind of a bonus, though. And we're not necessarily going to play through it. I jumped onto Game FAQs real quick to look up a thing or two about this. And yeah, it has a bunch of information and screenshot of the Super Nintendo version of this. Which was apparently developed by fucking ICOM, of all companies. And it looks atrocious. We will probably take a look at that tomorrow. I don't have it like on hand here. But I wanted to look up here. I think we have some cheat modes and passwords. Alright, there's cheat mode. You can use a second controller to get health and skip stages and stuff. That's interesting. We also have level passwords. Okay. There's basically passwords for every single stage, so we can probably kind of jump through these to take a closer look at more of the game without me having to subject myself to playing this from start to finish. Let's pause this and let's get going here. Looks pretty cool. I mean, okay. A little bit ghetto compared to the NES game, but, you know. Audio. And this fucking, Tom Tallarico did the music for this, believe it or not. Let me make sure I got my controls set up here. This like actually sounds alright, but holy shit, look at this nonsense. Oop, mouse cursor. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, but given the like, holy shit, looking at it's like painful to look at. It's atrocious. Yeah, I assume this would have been pre-Gems, not Gems, the audio software. So I assume he was kind of at the mercy of whatever he had to work with, because like Gems get a lot of shit, and there's definitely a lot of Gems games that sound terrible. But I think that's also because it wasn't necessarily used to its full extent. Fire, jump. Oh, the one is like for the setup. Okay, I thought it was like jump 1. Fire, jump, kick. There's an extra kick button. Okay, so there's melee attacks in this one, I guess.
Never leave the cave without it.
Thank you for the cheer. That Joker is terrifying. But yeah, but it's the least terrifying thing to look at in this entire game, I think. But yeah, like, so there's definitely a lot of Gems, like a lot of Genesis games and Mega Drive games using the Gems sound driver that don't sound very good, often because they were it's not representative of what the hardware is capable of, and it's really not representative of what the software is capable of either. But Tommy Tallarico, of all people, I think, has generally done pretty good work. Like, I think Earthworm Jim and Aladdin both use gems, and they sound great. He didn't do it, but Comic Zone uses it too, and it sounds pretty good too. So he is capable of better work than this for sure, but I can only assume he was at the mercy of his, I don't know, the realities of the situation. Let's just call it that. I guess we'll use a timer for the hell of it. This looks so unbelievably ghetto. It's like, oh, we have more colors, but like the animations and the poses, like the aiming up, which looks so good in the other version, and here it's like, oh, look at the crouch. The cape looked so amazing on NES, and here it just like looks like fucking dog shit. Like, you have higher resolution, so technically you can see more, but like, do you want to see any of this? Like, oh, you can't even fucking stand in between these things. This is so bad. There's no slide, but you have a little kick. Yeah, like, I can only assume they didn't have access to any of the original assets. Because surely if they had, there's no way they could have made it look this ugly. If they'd taken the original NES graphics, like, I'm sure there's technical limitations to literally like putting it 1-to-1, but like, yeah, this game uses the full Genesis resolution, but to absolutely no benefit. Like, everything's larger and it's just horrible. You can charge that thing up way faster, but I hate his little jump. I hate everything about this. Okay. You can like hover, you can kick hover. Remember these guys? Everything is so shit in this game. I hate this so much after, like, alright, so I said a few hours ago that, and I've said it before, that one of the reasons I was excited to do, like, Batman games as my sort of topic for this project was that the average level of quality is so high. There's, like, almost no genuinely bad Batman games. That's only because I'm not counting this one, because it's a bastardized version of a annoyingly difficult but otherwise fantastic NES game. Because this is like a shit game. Like, it's so impressive to, like I said, I can only imagine them, like, I can't imagine this being the result if you have access to the original game. Like, I mean, they could, but even, even having access to a retail cartridge and a Polaroid camera taking shots off of a TV, like, how do you get it this wrong? Batman looks so bad, and like, it's funny that the graphics are like all redone because like, this thing doesn't even activate until I'm way too close to attack it. I can't even remember what I was gonna say. Also, why does he have a little pink arm thing? There's like nothing that doesn't suck. I wonder if they just like didn't realize that you have a slide in the original, because they didn't put it in this game. At least not on the same input. His hurt box is gigantic. Maybe if you crouch and... There you go. Okay, you crouch and kick. You no longer crouch and jump. You crouch and kick. Oh, you can do jump kicks, but only at very specific times in your jump. You can only do the jump kick at your apex, at the apex of your jump. And it's like, the kick ends before you land also, so it's like kind of useless. I guess the power-ups can eat your enemies' bullets too, that's nice. You have to fucking stand still to charge weapons. You cannot charge them while walking. I do like the fact, the one good change is that you change weapons by shooting them once. You don't have to shoot them a bunch of times. Alright, so this thing has a faster rate of fire. I can't shoot lower. I'm trying to like figure out how I'm supposed to. How am I supposed to fucking hit this thing? How am I supposed to hit that thing? I'm not gonna continue. I'm gonna skip to the next stage. Let me move some windows around here so I get to password. Jesus Christ. This is like... Imagine fucking buying this game. Imagine getting this game for Christmas. Another fun little note of trivia about this game is that there's... the back of the box for this game, not only does it not have any screenshots, it has no text. It's just like a drawing of Batman and the Joker. It's like so incredibly ghetto. Like, there's a handful of Japanese Mega Drive games that has no artwork on the back. Like Saint's Sword. I want to say Donna also has no screenshots. It's pretty rare, but there's a handful of them. I don't think I've ever seen or heard of an American release that has no screenshots, but also no text. Like, no description of what the game is. That's not the screen I meant to go. Passcode. It says here, first use password 5257. Okay, so there's... Okay. On the bottom of the screen, objects will appear confirming correct password entry. I guess that's what that means. Yeah. I have no idea what that's supposed to be. A couple of mushrooms, and one of them has a pair of glasses? I don't know. Anyway, with this password, apparently we can, like, enter very simple level passwords. So, like, to get to 1, 2, we do that. Auto-scroller. Dude, the auto-fire is so much slower in this version, too. It's so hard to see what's a platform and what's background in this. This game is, like, actively making me angry. Alright, this one lets you keep... The projectiles are so slow. You can walk with it, but you have to stand still until it starts charging. This is like... You know, we talked about the top cutest or best Batman sprites. This has to be in the top dopiest Batman sprites for sure. Audio. There's not... Well, I was going to say, there's not a single thing about this game that's good. The fact that you can shoot pickups once to have them switch instead of having to shoot them an arbitrary number of times. That's good. That's literally the only good thing about this. Can't wait until I can vote for this game for GOTY. This game is such a piece of dog shit. It's like impressive how bad this is. Like Mega Man The Wily Wars is not good, but it's, you know, kind of like... How shit are these weapons? Okay, I jumped in front of the airship and I got hit as it shot the thing. Like, it's a projectile on screen. It's not a background element first. It's literally a projectile as it spawned way in the background. Holy shit. shit. This game finds new ways to surprise you and screw you over. I'm definitely curious about the Super Nintendo version. It never came out, but from the sounds of things, it sounds like it's at least, you know, at least on par with this version. I don't know. I saw like 2 screenshots and they looked incredibly ghetto as well. Pretty much on par with this, but on par, but unique and different. So I'm curious. I'm curious about it. Let's just leave it at that, I guess. But I don't have it on hand, so I won't be able to play it now, even if I wanted to. And I'll be honest and say this game's kind of leaving me not really wanting to play or do much of anything. Oh, shit. The music's like kind of out of tune. I like that it's, I mean, the homing is like slightly more functional. Hey, we completed a stage. First boss. Hey, you can kind of tell what the picture, well, you can't quite tell what it's supposed to be. Are we fighting fucking Johnny Turbo? Oh, you can't crouch under that. Good to know. Dude, the font is so hard to read. Shots are just also going through him. Like, there's no room to move. But I guess you could just tank it, which you could in the NES version also. His portrait, the back, like, everything is so incredibly ghetto. I'm using Turbo Fire, by the way, and it's like shooting very slowly compared to the NES one. I don't have a life lead anymore. Okay. Never mind that strat, then. I'm using the same emulator, so I'm guessing, like, the rate of fire shouldn't be different. Like, it should be the game that sets that limit, essentially. I can't fucking jump! I get, like, hit stun. I wonder if you kick him. Is that a strat? Seems to do more damage at least. The range, though, is a little questionable. Okay. Let's try the kick strat. Is this really Eurojanks, though? I don't know much about Ringler Studios. Apparently they made Mario Lemieux Hockey in this, and like not much else. I'm just assuming they're American because this was only released in North America. I mean, I understand you maybe didn't mean that in a literal sense, but this is a good positioning there. But I wouldn't even say it's like, I don't know, it's its own flavor of complete jank. All right, this definitely seems more doable. Can you imagine how bad the other bosses must be, though? Kick, like, what's... I feel like someone just had an idea, like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if Batman could, like, kick stuff? Like, no regard to how anything works in this game. Holy shit, you're kidding me. He had 200 health left. He's like a bad DOS port. Absolutely. Like, the art screams shitty DOS game to me. Oh, start over here. Alright, how do I reset? There we go. I was really close too, and like the NES boss is like so easy too. I kind of wanted to see. Okay, so hang on. You have to use like second controller for the cheat mode, because you use a password, and when you have that cheat mode enabled, you can use the second controller. During gameplay, the start button on controller 2 will pause without bringing up the pause menu. C button on controller 2 will restore Batman's health. A button on controller 2 will skip to the next stage. Finally, the B button on controller 2 will show the end game credits. Alright, fuck it. We'll just set that up. I'm kind of out of USB slots, actually, to do this in a super convenient way, unless... I don't know what's hooked up over here. Alright, let's do this. I think this should work. I'm going through an awful lot of trouble for questionable worth here. Alright, so... Nice, it's registering this. Start. This is horrific to look at. Truly horrific. Alright, there we go. We got controller 2 set up. So with that, let's hop back in. Did I just fucking unplug my player 1 controller here? What's going on? I actually did. Alright. Sick. Alright, let's just restart this real quick. Make sure the joystick works. Was DOS to Sega ever a thing? There's definitely some DOS games, or games that appeared on DOS that are on Mega Drive. There's more like Amiga to Mega Drive ports. It just like removed the configuration. Pretty sure I didn't fuck up and bind player 1 controls to this other controller too. If I did, well, we'll figure it out. I was thinking of one on the top of my... I mean, there's like Budokan and other like EA games that mostly were on Amiga but had DOS versions. I was thinking of something in particular, but it's completely blanking right now. Whoops. I beg your pardon? 1408 is supposed to enable cheat code. Well, I can't really brute force this. Alright, well, fuck this then. Maybe if we... Alright, what was the other one? 5257, right? So now if we do... Let's try the other code right now. Nope. Alright. Well, let's try this. Oh. I feel like if the first boss was that obnoxious... Is that a platform? It is. Okay. Cool. I feel like every other stage is going to be even more impossible. Oh god, the audio. Oh wait, stage 2 doesn't have a boss. So that's a good sign. Stage 2 and 5 or 4, whatever. There's 2 stages that end with a shoot 'em up section. I didn't realize these boxes were parts of the foreground. It's fucking impossible to see what anything is. I would say what makes this look like a DOS game to me is like the very sort of unartistic use of color. Everything is very sort of primary colors. Everything is very monochromatic. There's no like the use of different sort of hues for shading. The very like I'm not saying it looks like any specific DOS games really, but it kind of I guess looks more like a EGA game. Like Apogee games like Duke Nukem or Keen or whatever. I hope that thing respawns. It doesn't. Okay, we're screwed. Like the high contrast, the very vibrant colors, like off-puttingly vibrant colors. The use of solid black outlines for everything. That kind of thing. Like it has a... It has just an amateurish vibe to it that I feel is... reminds me kind of more of DOS stuff than anything else, really. That's the floor I'm standing on? The brown thing? I guess so, okay. This fucking electric noise is so bad. It's like, I feel like I need to apologize for streaming this. This is like... Oh, this is nauseating. But I think we're gonna get to the shoot 'em up section soon. I'm sure that's gonna be great. Probably should have just... Yeah, fuck it. What the fuck is he doing? He's like sliding around, like their heart were kind of in the right place, but oh my god, there's so like the level of amateurish, like look how fucking super uncool he is. Like I feel like you should have a little bit more room to maneuver, but oh my god, this weapon sucks. The projectiles don't go through anything. See, they just like instantly get swallowed. I'm not sure what's going on with the music. Like, I can't believe this was like commercially released. Like at least not by a company like Sunsoft and with an IP like Batman. Like, I guess it's the one part that's fully believable is the fact that the company that made this didn't stick around for long after this. Okay, what even is that jetpack? It's like a couple of gray stripes off of his shoulders, like an upside down ironing board or something. Even the jingle sounds way sad. He looks dopey. Fucking everything sucks ass about this game. Like, this music is like just reminding you of how cool it sounds on the NES. And this is at least not like embarrassingly awful, but it's not good. Okay, so I guess it's like shooting stars or whatever here. It's not actual missiles. These guys sure look different. Some funky vibe. I feel like the slight differences in sort of... Like, everything is kind of slower, except Batman, who's kind of almost more limber in this version than in the NES one. See, like, those hurricanes are so much slower and easier to avoid here. I like that you... you don't fall off the screen. You take damage and explode, but you can still turn around. I love that animation when he falls down and lands. I love that you can't even see what the fuck anything is. Oh, cool, I missed it. He looks so goofy, and it just sets the stage perfectly for how shit everything is going to be. I was about to make fun of this guy for like not even getting close to me, but then he actually hit me like 3 times. So. Like those shooting... I don't know, fucking meteorites or whatever, they kind of come at you in a way that you're... You have a better shot of avoiding them here. But like any changes to the difficulty, like as dickish as the NES game is, and as unfair as it can feel, it feels deliberate. Most of what the game does, if not all of it, feels like it's put there specifically because it's meant to be that way. This game, nothing about this game gives me the impression that any changes to difficulty compared to the NES version are in any way deliberate. These meteorites don't seem fair at all. They're a lot more fair here than in the NES one. What the fuck are we looking at? Nah, they're way easier to dodge here. What the fuck is this? Oh yeah, right, the rock, like, alright, the rock in the ceiling. Why does this feel so much more cramped? I like that it falls down from nowhere. Like, the layout is not the same here. It's similar, but it's not really the same. See, there's like no room at all here. So here's the guy that's on the other side, right? But the spacing of this, like the way he spawns specifically once you jump on the platform, doesn't seem like it's the same here. Like the resolution is higher here, so we have a wider field of vision. But at the same time, the sizes of all the tiles and the characters and everything is, like, I'm not sure it's the same. He takes way more damage, so we still can't hit him. This guy, right? This gun sucks! You can't hurt anything with this gun. That seems a little different. I can't shoot him because the fucking weapon drop. Your fat ass can't dodge anything. Let's look at the game over screen. Looks the same as everything else, of course. Let's see here. Well, yeah, the easy password is fine. I don't need to really look them up then. Just need to remember which stage we're on. So that's 3-2. We can actually skip directly to the boss. Dumbass jingle. Alright. I don't remember what this boss is. Like, these look like... I cannot believe these are... Alright, it's this guy. Dude, this looks even more cramped for sure. You can't fucking move. Oh. How the fuck are you supposed to dodge this shit? You move like 8 feet backwards when you turn around also, but... So cute. The kick seems definitely the fast way to deal damage, but it's very unsafe. The thing is, like, everything is unsafe. I don't think I can really position myself in a way to avoid taking damage. I don't have to do this to myself? No, I suppose not. Like, he deals a shit ton of damage, right? Yeah, like 10,000? Like, was this, like, tested? Like, how do I... You're, like, way too big. You can't jump through that. You can't crouch that! What the fuck is this game? I can't believe how fucking bootleg this game is. It is unbelievable. I cannot believe it. I wonder if there's some like tech to. Ooh, wait, can I? You can like generate him with the slide. All right. Right. Well, that almost worked. We're not going to go through every stage. Well, let's take a look at the last couple of sections, like the tank part, the Joker fights. I'm curious to see what those look like. I vaguely recall the 7-1, like the island stage, what that looks like. Not specifically, more than it looking absolutely pathetic. So let's do 6-2. That's the tank stage. Everything is just like so fucked. Like the spacing of it's fucked. The ground fell. Okay. Right. Of course, the ground just fell. His fucking toes. Alright, the jump kick seems really powerful. This seems like a really good place to actually use it. But it's a little hard to use because you can only kick specifically, precisely at the apex of your jump. This stage is not hard at all in the NES. Yeah, it's like a one-hit kill on this guy. You should respawn faster. If you hit him, you have to be really far back for it to hit. I guess you should kick him from the front. Yeah. Alright, there we go. That's the strat. We figured it out. Indoor section here at the very end. Alright, I hit my fucking head on the... Well, fuck it. I'm out of here. Yeah, he just starts in there. Jesus Christ! Like, these, like... I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying, like, these look like bootleg, like, graphics. Like, these look like weird Taiwanese... Well, actually, no. Taiwanese DOS fighting games look better than this, but... Like, weird pirate shit where they just, like, trace other things, but very poorly. How the fuck are you supposed to manage this? I feel like this has to be intended to be done with that cheat code that we could not get to work. Although... Alright, I can pause with the player 2 controller, but that, I guess, not part of the cheat code, because the buttons don't do anything. Yeah. Maybe the jump kick is good on Joker also, I don't know. Can't avoid shit. It's Ooh. I mean, the Joker portrait down there is like probably the least terrible looking thing in this entire game, basically. Not that thing. That looks fucking atrocious. But the thing on the bottom right there, that's the same as the title screen art, which looks like it's basically at least traced off of good art. Everything else just is not... just looks terrible in every imaginable way. All right, this is gonna. It's just way faster to do this. That artwork right there, by the way. These fucking screens of them bragging about who made the game, whatever. I mean, developers deserve credits for sure, and especially around this time, it was not to be taken for granted, especially at a work-for-hire situation like this, to get credit. It just comes across as a little delusional, I don't know, to make such a big deal. Like, how fucking shit does this look compared to the NES one? There's like way less animation. The screen just scrolled because Batman posed. That does not seem right. Ooh, I just realized we never actually got to see what the Dynamite Batman mode looks like in this one. If we get to keep the upgrades between lives here, we'll probably get to see it. I'm sure it... What hit me? I'm sure it's not worth looking at. Cool! Fucking off-screen guy. It's supposed to be up... This... Ghosts. Yeah, fucking ghosts. Okay, the Batman meter does stay where it was. We'll at least make sure to see that. We'll play a couple lives, because it'll fill up. This weapon sucks! These things come so late here. Timing for all the spawns are super off. I meant to crouch, I held down. This just goes right in, there's no transition here. That's different. Okay. No angry circuit boards here, but... Alright, let's just get to Dynamite Batman mode. I don't know if it's called that, but I'm calling it that because it's a cool name for the game. It's the Japanese name for this game, by the way. Well, I mean, the original, the proper. Fucking ghost hitboxes. We're on full meter mode. Why are we not... Is this... No, we're not transforming. Do I need to, like... Yes, I need to literally press all buttons at the same time to activate it. And it lasts for about 2 seconds. Excellent. Okay. I mean, I do think it's a good idea that you have to activate it manually so you can actually sort of save it. But it's so pathetic. I'm blown away by how pathetic that was. This game continues to impress me with how pathetic it can be, reaching new heights of being pathetic. What a fucking way to go out! All right, let's enter one last password to see the final boss. So, the cheat mode code, unfortunately, I can't get to work. With the cheat code, according to this, you're supposed to be able to refill your health and even press a button to get to the ending. Let me just double check. Yeah, there's no password for the ending, as far as I can tell. There's a walkthrough. Someone made a fucking walkthrough for this. The start of this walkthrough explains that the select button is not used, which is very helpful because the Mega Drive does not have a select button. Let's read this walkthrough. Let's read what it has to say about the final boss fight. Let's see if we can get any valuable strats. Joker has 250,000 power for this fight. The fight starts with Joker behind a shield, it's misspelled, that drops purple orbs right in front of it. There are also 4 turrets that send out fireballs in your direction. I stood in a corner for this fight and just kept shooting Joker's shield. Correctly spelled this time. Eventually, the shield and turrets break. There will be 4 lower turrets now, and Joker will occasionally throw a purple orb around the room. Throughout Throughout the fight, it is possible to jump the fireballs and purple orbs. Kick attacks do a large amount of damage to Joker. Okay. I mean, granted, in the NES game, the final boss kind of seemed a little easier. Alright, the title screen graphics. Okay, this looks a lot closer to the NES, but like not in a good way. It's also really weirdly cramped. Can I shoot? No, I can't shoot diagonally. Oh, it's so... Oh, you get like stuck to the ground. If you can bait... Like, the shooting prevents you from jumping in a weird, awkward way. If you can time it right, so that these things shoot when you're in the air. Okay, they turn purple. Alright, it's pretty hard to time. Especially when the jumps are, like, super unreliable. Oh! Like, if you shoot, you're just stuck on the floor and can't jump. I want to see if I can reach, because at 180, at least in the NES version, is when he 180 is when the shield explodes or whatever. I have to see this again. I wonder if maybe it's worth to do this. Dude, these things take a lot of hits. So I'm just doing, like, conducting research here. Can I hit him with the kick? He's taking damage. Alright, with the bottom left one out, it's a little easier to manipulate those orb shots. That was poorly timed. Shit. It's still like he does not take nearly enough damage for this to, like, feel viable. Sometimes those things bounce off to the left and hit you pretty far. Dude, look at his life. I deal damage way too slowly. I wasn't even close. Ooh. The fuck is this boss fight? This boss fight is completely in line with the rest of this game, which is super fucked. Oh, I guess if you can jump kick these things, though. It's super hard to fucking jump kick this thing without getting hit myself. Like, borderline impossible. Can I at least get him under 200? Fucking game, man. It's... Yeah, as I said, Cody, I'm... Start at 7-1? Yeah, I look forward to voting for this game when the opportunity arises. The thing is, yeah, Phantom X-Step, it would take forever, and that's when you get to the second phase. The second phase for the NES version, I didn't really get the pattern to safely avoid it, but I understood the pattern. So when we got there, we had the wave thing. So, well, I don't know if that makes any difference, but the second pattern in the NES version, I could tank it. I could avoid... He had 2 attacks. I knew how to avoid one of them, but not the other. Consistently avoiding the one attack, but consistently getting hit by the other, still shooting constantly the entire time, was enough to kill him in time. But in this version, you shoot significantly slower, you generally seem to deal less damage, and you generally seem to take more damage. The first boss in the NES version is like completely trivial to literally just mash, shoot, and tank all the hits and you'll win. I could not do that in this game. Even spamming the kick, which is like the max damage output, I still couldn't defeat the first boss. So this game is completely absurd in its difficulty. It's absurd in a lot of ways. Fuck this fucking game. Yeah, at least we got slightly more of a look at this game, but yeah, there's no way I would ever want to commit to beating this. I mean, it hurts even more after playing the NES version, because for everything I might have whined about playing that game, it is excellently put together, and it looks and sounds incredible, and every little annoying thing about that game feels completely deliberate. And I was, like, the only thing I did illegitimately, I guess, to complete that game was using Turbo, which, without that, I would, like, injure myself. With having to mash so much. So I don't feel too bad about that. And if I had the Turbo controller at the time, I would have had zero hesitation of using it. But like, this is such a dog shit conversion that it's, yeah, shocking. I will want to take a look at the Super Nintendo port of this tomorrow, though, because I'm curious as hell. I was not aware of this, of the Super Nintendo version. That one was cancelled and was never sold, unlike this version, which did see release, which just seems... Dude, imagine playing the first Genesis Batman game and being super into that game, and like, oh shit, there's a sequel, there's a new Batman on Mega Drive. Like, maybe you didn't know about the NES game. And I mean, I guess you wouldn't know that it's a port of that, because it has a different title, and the box doesn't even have any fucking screenshots. It's just like, hey, it's a new Batman game. The last one was awesome, and then you play this, and it's just... This, it's like, what the fuck is this? It's just... Oh my god. Oh my god. Anyway, what a fucking note to go out. I'm gonna stop the timer. We're not playing any more of this. This has been the Lost Tapes special episode of revisiting some of these games that we had recorded footage of, but lost due to a unfortunate Twitch issue. We've played through all 5 games today and taken a bonus look at this piece of shit and putting it all to the record. That means that we only have one final episode left. Tomorrow will be the final, ultimate grand finale of the Caped Crusade. Today's stream has actually given me a lot of ideas for things I would like to do on stream tomorrow, but I'm a little stressed out about my ability to actually prepare all of that stuff. So I think maybe some of those ideas will be left on the cutting room floor. We'll see what I have time to arrange. If nothing else, what we absolutely will be doing tomorrow is taking a look at least commercially released Batman games that we did not play for this project. Mostly mobile games, stuff that simply were not really available or accessible for me to play. But we'll give them all a bit of an honorable mention at the finale stream tomorrow. And we will take a similar look at Batman in some other non-Batman games. Some crossover games, some wider DC Universe games, some Justice League games, that kind of thing. We will, I would think, get to look at some statistics. Those are also some things that I have not quite prepared fully yet. I will need to do so tonight and tomorrow morning before we get started. But we're going to look at, hopefully, if all goes well, a kind of an extended version of the post-game statistics. I'm going to try to put together some like top lists of certain stats and that kind of thing. We'll see how much of that I have time for, but we'll take at the very least, a short summary of the statistics we have on hand, if nothing else. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go through in random order every single game that we've played for this and rate and rank them. We're going to come out of tomorrow's stream with a numbered list of my personal, unofficial, official ranking of every Batman game played for the Caped Crusade. And I think that's going to give us a lot of opportunity to reminisce and talk about a lot of these games. Maybe revisit some video footage of a lot of these different games, especially some other of these early ones that I didn't remember very well. Hype for the big finale. So am I, dude. So am I. I'm extremely hyped. It's going to be very strange to have this Batman thing that's been part of my stream for over 2 years now be done. We're going to get an opportunity to revisit Gotham, of course, with the new Warner Brother Montreal game whenever that comes out. And other new Bat games, presumably, we'll check out on stream. I feel almost obligated to do so after this. But, yeah, so tomorrow is going to be the grand finale. I don't know exactly when in the day we're going to get started. But I think we're going to look at a similar stream schedule to today. Today I started around noon, Central European summertime. I'm going to need to spend some time making dinner now. I'm going to squeeze together some kind of Easter dinner, I guess, of some sort. And I'll try to find all the time I need to prepare for tomorrow. And we're looking at probably noon-ish, middle of the day time to start the stream tomorrow. And we'll go as long as we need to. I feel like tomorrow's stream might be stupidly long. Because we have a lot of shit to get through. I fear for how long this whole ranking business might take. It knowing how long I can take to do fucking, unboxing 5 games or whatever, I feel like ranking 50-something games is something I can stretch out over many, many hours. So definitely, I think the kind of retrospective aspect of looking back to these games that we haven't played, I'm going to try to keep that pretty brief so we make sure that we have enough time for the full ranking. And I'm sure it's going to be highly controversial, and people will have a lot of hot takes and opinions about my hot takes and opinions, and that's going to be super fun, I think. But that's tomorrow. The super ultimate grand finale of the Caped Crusade. Tomorrow, noon-ish, I guess. I will announce on Discord and Twitter if and when I have a better ETA, but that's what we're looking at. So if you aren't already, please feel free to check out my Discord server and my Twitter. The best place is to keep track of stream updates and other fun stuff. But today has been, with the exception of this piece of shit, it's been really fun. PC Engine Batman, so good. Mega Drive 1, really fun. Arcade 1, not the best one, but it's not bad for sure. And the Game Boy one and this one, well, not this one, but the NES, Return of the Joker. A nice little cross-section of very different but very fun Batman games. So, that's it for me tonight. Stick around. I'll find someone to host a raid, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow. I, for one, am greatly looking forward to it. Take care, everyone. Happy Easter, good evening, and good night, and all that good stuff. Take care. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And thank you very, very much for watching. See you guys around. Bye.